Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the show. This is the Monday edition of Back to the Window. I am your host, Scott Steen, lead handicapper at winnersandwhiners.com.
Co-host Scott Rochelle, senior handicapper over on Whiners.com.
And together we do this every single day. Me from my office in Missouri, and Scott, traveling man. He doesn't go anywhere out of his house except Las Vegas.
Pretty much, yeah. Occasionally Florida, but usually Vegas.
Have you been to the grocery store or Vegas more in the last 2 months?
Why? I think it might be a push.
Okay, the two of each?
Yeah, give or take.
Okay,
I've been to the grocery store more. But,
Scott has a terrific view behind him, but the sun is glaring in, and Scott looks like just a black silhouette with the window open. But he's got a great view. He's got the big wheel. Is that what they call it?
Yeah, something like that.
So. Okay.
I got the curtain behind me instead.
He's got the curtain. Where are you staying?
I'm staying at the Mirage.
At the Mirage. Very good. Very good. Good to see everybody in the comment section. Man, people are checking in. Michael Doe says NASCAR had a big decision last night. Blaney undid the side netting.
Did you watch the All-Star race?
I did not. I was watching other sports. I did not see that, but
I watched nothing.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it on replay. So
I watched a movie during the second half of my flight.
I'll have to check that out. Would you see Interstellar?
Yeah, I watched Interstellar for the first
time. How'd you like that? You like it? Okay.
I thought it was good. I get that people were very interested in the sci-fi type of part of it. I thought that was interesting. It was extremely long. It was a very, very long experience, about 3 hours or so. But I timed it perfectly because the movie ended right when we landed. So it worked itself out quite nicely.
Perfect. Jim Williams says it was a wild race for sure. JC Stone says, well, what's crack-a-lackin'? Ain't nothing at crack-a-lackin'. What's up, JC? Lex Steele says, great Scott's jumping gigawatts. I wish I could do it. Or Christopher Lloyd. I really do. Yeah, good to have you guys. Love the background, Scott. Yep, there you go. The stripes. Very good. What floor are you on?
They're very, very slimming, the stripes.
Yeah, the horizontal stripes. That's a good look for you. Big X.
Michael's already calling me out. Michael wondering if I brought the farm hat with me. I did not. Did not have room for it in my suitcase. So
priorities, Mike. You could have worn it. Why didn't you just wear it on the plane?
Yeah, I think it would be a massive security hazard. But when I'm in Vegas, if I was wearing the hat, I wanted to let other guys have a chance, at some of the women. But if I walk down in that farmer's hat, it's just over at that point.
It's over. It's a harvest of hotties for Scott Rochelle.
Only with the farmer hat on. So, I figured I'm visiting from out of town. I got to make sure the other, people there have a shot.
Yeah, you got to have a shot. You got to absolutely have a shot. Jim Williams said he had the Interstellar at under 3 hours. He lost.
I thought the movie was fine. It's just a classic 3-hour movie where it's not war-based or whatever, so you don't have constant action to keep you entertained. So it's just like they're traveling through space and some random stuff happens here and there. I'm just like, all right, it's still 3 hours. But
it bends time. It bends time. If they spend 5 minutes, it's really 20 years.
It did bend time because, McConaughey stayed the same age, and I gained about 20 years watching that movie. So it was really just a massive thing on the space-time continuum.
David Good saying, no hat for Scott, no women. Absolutely.
It happens, man.
Hi, I'm Scott. I'm from the farm. Maybe you know us from our at the farm place.
Yeah.
Hey, good to have everybody here. Don't forget to, the only thing we're ever going to ask from you is smash that like button and subscribe. We appreciate the effort on everybody's part. If you would hit that thumbs up, get over there and subscribe, ring the bell. If you like notifications, you've come to the right place because my God, we'll notify the shit out of you. We'll let you know every time we put brand new content up, both on the Winners and Whiners YouTube channel and the Max Wagers Network YouTube channel as well. So definitely check that out. Apologies. I apologize on the last show for my, I need a makeup person here, Scott. You see my forehead. You see the hairline here with the difference. I got a little sun yesterday is what I'm telling you.
Could be worse though. At least the toupee didn't fall off.
Yeah. Thanks very much. I got out on the lake a little bit yesterday. I had to show one of my daughter's friends how to drive a pontoon boat. So it was fun. It was nice to get out on the water a little bit. So had a good time. Didn't get any fishing in. That sucked, but
I came to try out my sea legs.
We did get some boating in, so it's good to be here, everybody. Check out all the great offerings at the Max Wagers Network. It's not just me. It's not a network all about me. There's other shows. There's Midday Money with Sean Higgs. That's a great way to start your day at noon. Allie Burns at 1:00 with the Morning Wood. Me and Chris at 2. Me and Scott at 3. And Sean Miller doing mostly soccer, doing a little F1 there as well at 4:00, 5:00. It is Detroit Lenny. Tim and Nick Earl bringing it on home with Game Time Decision. So, I know you were flying yesterday. How'd your weekend go?
Overall was fun. I mostly was betting on basketball and hockey. The basketball games I can't say went too well. I did take a flyer on Saturday night with the Celtics -2.5 at like plus 525 at halftime. Okay. Jimmy Butler I knew was injured, so I took a shot with it. They cut it to 1. Didn't work out, but I was betting tennis with the French Open. And so far, I've been, fingers crossed, undefeated in the French Open. So that's been pretty good. I do have a brief rant, though, that I want to get through. Because Vegas,
sure.
I love Vegas. It's a great time. You know, there's a lot of stuff to do. However, we've reached the point where Vegas went from being so far ahead in sports betting compared to the rest of the country to being about 7 steps behind.
Yep.
I'm walking into a betting kiosk at like 1 a.m. French Open here starts at 2 a.m. Great time. But I'm like, all right, let me get some plays and let me see what I like. So I walk into the kiosk and I'm looking for totals. I want to bet some overs, bet some set overs, stuff like that. No totals. We have no tennis totals in a Grand Slam tournament. You're only giving me the money line and the spread. Really? 2022. Give me some damn tennis totals.
What are you doing?
Is that too much to ask for?
What are you doing?
I'm just saying, is that too much to ask for?
Apparently it is, yes.
I mean, it's basic common sense. I want some totals.
Here's one of the most names that I don't understand. 400 Boil Toe. Okay. Any ideas? Yeah, got nothing.
Is that like?
I don't know what that means.
I don't know either.
Okay. You like the Rockies money line versus the Pirates?
I think it's a pretty tricky spot there because Cool's the much better pitcher, but Colorado, just like last year, is atrocious on the road. Yep. They have last year they were like historically bad, but this year
they're not quite as atrocious. Now they're just bad. Yeah,
they're pretty bad too. Pittsburgh, we know, can't hit. They occasionally win games when they don't hit, but they still aren't very good at hitting the ball. Cool's the better pitcher. I think my main play would be Colorado first 5. Just toss the bullpens out. Give me Cool in a revenge game potentially against Pittsburgh, but I do like the pitching advantage for Colorado. You?
I'm kind of on the other side. I'm just looking at the. This is the Colorado team that just cannot score on the road. They average just 2.7 runs per game.
You leaning to the under because Pittsburgh can't score anywhere?
I don't hate that. I don't hate the under. But I've got Pittsburgh in the small lean there as well. So
cool.
Michael Dose wants to know if you're interviewing for the Golden Knights head coaching job.
He
should. He hates every coach. So
I was going to say I could potentially do a better job than DeBoer, but no, that is not on the cards. I'll also be doing some podcasting. I'm actually meeting up with Allie later, so we're going to watch some of the games. And yeah, looking forward to a fun couple days in Vegas.
Magellan Sports revealing one of the worst kept secrets in the world of gambling. Vegas doesn't care about sports betting. It's a draw for where they make all their money, which is slots. That is 100% true. Sports betting and poker rooms are basically... They're not quite loss leaders, but they're not big revenue generators.
Well, some casinos have started to even throw out the poker room, which just tells you how high it is on the priority list. It's not that
high. Here in Kansas City, before the pandemic, we had 4 poker rooms. They all closed. Only one of them reopened.
Well, just think about it, though, conceptually, because for poker, the only thing that the actual casinos are collecting on is the rake.
That's right.
But if you're going to be looking at slots and you think of how often a given player wins on the slots in comparison to poker, it's not that much. And plus, they're taking all the money every time you lose.
Penny slots save the casino industry. So you have people that are playing penny slot machines with a payback of somewhere in the 86 to 88% range. And they're playing, it's the most ridiculous thing in the world. They'll play max play, $3 a spin, $5 a spin. And you tell them you should be playing dollar slots with a 93, 94% payback. I go, I can't afford that. Like, okay.
Once again, Vegas is still a very fun time. You know, it's good to visit everything like that, but at least acknowledge for sports betting, it went from being your classic cliche that you throw out there. In the land with no shoes, the man, or like I forgot the exact expression, but the man with one
In the
shoe
land of
is
the
king.
barefoot, the man with one shoe is king.
Yeah, it's the land of the barefoot. Yeah, okay. Then the man with one shoe is king. That was Vegas for sports betting in America because most states just didn't have it. And as most other states started to embrace the level of competition, or laissez-faire if you want to go through the actual, term for it, then you had more options. And Vegas just never changed anything because they didn't need to. They know it's a tourist attraction. They know that sports betting is a fun thing to do, but most of the money's made on the actual machines where you pull a lever. That's it.
Absolutely true. Here is one of the best comments you're ever going to see. JC Stone says, I only go to Vegas to see Slappy White. Do you even know who that is?
No, I do not.
He's an old-time African-American comic. He worked the Chitlin circuit back in the 50s and 60s with guys like with Red Fox and stuff like that. Very funny cat, but a little dirty. What I'm saying.
Okay.
Renzo Brothers in the house. Nicholas Lee says, I play penny slots, but I only do like 40, 50 cents a pull. Okay, very good. Penny slots are still the profit leader. Oh, yeah. Oh, no question. It's not even close. Not even close.
It's a penny. How can I lose?
Vegas equals skydiving plus range shooting plus Bellagio pool girls. Now, there's somebody that's taken in the entire Vegas experience right there.
In that order.
No golf, Peter Wolf? No golf? Renzo Brothers in the house. Good to see him. He was Melvin on. That's right. He was Melvin on Sanford and Son. Correct. I forgot about that, Michael. You're absolutely right. He did have a little guest role there on Sanford and Son. Hey, before we get rolling on what happened yesterday, let's talk about Caesars. Scott, speaking of Vegas, Caesars, they've expanded their reach. Of course, they've got betting. They got sports betting in a lot of different states right now, and they got a great deal for you. If you want to bet that first bet with Caesars at $1,000, you want to make it count. You want to make a real difference. This is a great opportunity. Caesars giving you $1,100 in bet insurance. Your first bet, win or lose, you're going to be fine. If you win it, of course, you win. If you lose, Caesars makes it up to you, up to $1,100. Take advantage of that. Of course, it's available only in the states where Caesars is. You must be 21 to play, except in Wyoming, New Hampshire, where you have to be 18. And, of course, we have the code available. It is all about the code. Scott, is ATS wins Caesar, or ATS WINSCZR. That is in the description of today's show, along with the link. So clip those, and you'll be hooked up. David says he lives in Henderson. Said we have mini sports. We only do major sports, which tennis is not. Yeah, they need a better than a 55% chance to win. Yeah,
they had tennis for the money lines and the spreads. They just didn't have totals. So I figured if you were going to have spreads in the first place, then why wouldn't you also carry totals? I don't know, but
okay. Are you going to be at the Circa Pool drinking a Paloma?
Not during the Heat Celtics game. Maybe at some point during, but I'm actually going to be recording a podcast at the Win, so I'll be busy there for I'd say a decent portion of the game. Also meeting up with Allie though, so I'll be busy watching a game or two with her, and yeah. So I'd say not Circa today, but probably tomorrow. I do like the Circa Pool. To be honest though, if you're going to actually gamble there, do all your research before, because they have a DJ while the game's going on, while you're in the sun. It's almost impossible to do research while you're at the pool.
Are they playing like house music and EDM shit?
Oh yes, like they have actual remix stuff while you're watching the game. It's definitely an acquired taste. I'm not into it. No. I still like the overall just scene, but it's very weird to have a DJ while everybody's watching games. It seems like it's a very weird combination.
They've boomer-proofed the Circa Pool, in my opinion.
Well, they still got the overpriced food though, so it's like stadium prices. There's no stadium,
You see that bill that was posted on Twitter, $171,000 for a VIP service.
Yeah, rookie numbers in this racket.
All right, so
Michael, I have gone before. Stadium swims are nice, but once again, I call it stadium swim because the prices for the food are the prices you'd find at a stadium. But it's good. I mean, it's a fun time, but I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to be music going on, a lot of noise. It is not exactly a peaceful place to do research and to actually watch games, but if you want an atmosphere and people going nuts and occasionally to, hang out by the pool and see people in bikinis, then it's a good place for you to watch games, I guess.
Bienvenido Gomez checking me on my high school Spanish. I believe he is saying hello from the Dominican Republic.
Nice.
I don't know. I don't know what Yaman Disla Presente means, but it's good to have you, bienvenido. Welcome. It's not in his name. You know what a paloma is, Scott? Have you ever had a paloma?
My truth is, going back to the actual comment in Spanish, I did take Spanish for 5 years.
Oh, okay.
But I completely have not spoken the language in like 4 years, so it kind of went in one ear, out the other.
I'm the same way.
But hola, ¿cómo estás? Me llamo Scott. So let's just stick with that and we'll go from there.
Money well spent. Scott, this is your ballywick. In WNBA, Sparks versus Aces. Timmy Earle's got the over.
I mean, I can't take an under with the Aces. They can walk into 100 in any given game. If you look at the Sparks defensively this season, they've really not been good. They're 2-4, and if you want to go through the points allowed, they've given up at least 83 points in each of the last 2 games. Las Vegas should probably score 90 or more in this game. They scored 93 or more in 3 of their last 4 games. I do like the over. I think if you want to go for a Vegas team total, I don't mind that either. But I do think that Vegas probably scores around 95, and you're looking in pretty good shape for the over. So yes, Tim, I agree.
Very good.
If you think if you're with JC and you're questioning if the Sparks can score enough, take a team total. Just because I do think Vegas should do most of the heavy lifting, probably scores 90 plus.
Stephen Hong wants to know if the Heat get to 100 tonight.
It's a good question. I was actually going to ask you, because we were going to get into that game after the segments. Is it a hot take for me to just think that Boston wins tonight by 25?
No.
Like alternative spreads? I think they're going to beat the crap out of them tonight.
No, and I think Chris and I talked about it a little bit on the show before. I think it's a situation where if Miami gets down early, they may just kind of
I think they're punting.
Wave the white flag and put Butler on the bench and rest him up.
Of course. PJ Tucker had a bit of an injury. Butler, of course, did not play the second half. They won anyway. Lowry was very good in his first game back, but still, we know that he's been battling some stuff. And Hero's out. And it seems like Miami is, at least first glance, willing to potentially pull the plug if things go poorly in Game 4 because they stole home court advantage back. And if you want to make an argument that Miami should not be pulling the plug, I can understand that because it's a playoff game. You can't, fully hand them over. But it does seem, based on the injury report, that if you want to go for some alternatives, Boston winning by 20 plus, especially with the blowouts that we've seen in the postseason in general, it does seem like a motivated Boston team off an embarrassing home loss comes out, smacks them early, and then Miami just decides to save their energy for Game 5. That's what I'm getting from an
I'm the same way. And it's certainly it could be ripe for in-game.
It could be. Now, if you want to go for some props, Hero's not playing, so I expect Oladipo to play a lot of minutes in this game because defensively he was great against Brown.
Right.
But if you want to just go based on volume, Oladipo should play, what do you think, north of 30? Because is he the new de facto sixth man?
I think he is.
So Oladipo's probably going to play a bunch of minutes. But Miami offensively, we know, has had some inconsistent moments. They've been able to overcome that, and they're up 2-1. But Tatum was awful, and yet Boston hung around in that game, came from behind, almost pulled it off, did not. But if you want to talk about a spot where you would want to be laying points, I really cannot make an argument for taking Miami. I really can't. I think Boston -7 is a joke. I think it should be closer to 8.5 or 9.
Yeah.
What's Hero's value? Because it was 6.5, and then the news came out. Now it's 7. You're telling me that the 6 man of the year is only worth half a point?
Right. I was going to say, so far it's been a half point. So
I don't buy that.
Although I think some of that was baked in with him being questionable. So I think some of the Hero may already have been baked in.
I could be wrong, but I think it gets ugly.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a guessing business at the end of the day. So you're saying your guess could be incorrect, but yeah, with factoring everything we know, I think that's a strong possibility.
I'm saying I think that there's a greater chance of Boston winning the game handily than Miami keeping it close, in my personal opinion.
Nicholas Lee thinking maybe Boston first half. Yeah, I don't hate that.
Or if you think Miami wins, parlay it with Adebayo over in points, because if Miami's going to keep this game close, Adebayo needs another 25. So you can always do the correlated parlay system in same game. where Boston could win in a variety of ways. Tatum does well, Brown does well, whatever. If Miami's going to win, they either need Butler to go nuts or Adebayo to go nuts, potentially both.
Yep.
So keep that in mind if you want to go for some same-game stuff. You can try to extract extra value using same-game parlays.
Magellan says he thinks Hero's worth 1 point on the road.
Still means you're saving half a point.
Yep, true. Very true. Okay. All right, let's find out what happened yesterday, man. Let's get to it. We got some stuff to talk about. It happened yesterday, man. It wasn't a great day for a couple of people. If you had these particular bets, let's find out who it is, because there's one of these that I really want to talk about. You know them, you love them. Let's find out who got the beats and who got the wins. The winners, the whiners. You know who you are, and now we're going to find out who you are along with everybody else as we talk about the Monday edition of Call the Cops. All right, very good. We're going to start off in the major leagues. If you had the Pirates team total under 3.5 against the Cardinals, here it comes, buddy. Here comes your ninth inning closer, closing out that 18-0 win. Hey, who the fuck is that? Oh, it's Yachty. It's Yachty coming into pitch. Well, that's not good.
It wasn't Pujols, though. So
it wasn't Pujols. He'd already hit 2 home runs. He was tired.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh put up 4 runs against America's favorite catcher, and that's over the 3.5. They finished with 4 because, they didn't go to extras. Oh, man. If you had the Pirates team total under 3.5, you were really good when they were going up against regular pitchers. But once the catcher started pitching, you were in trouble. Call the cops.
And the second one, I feel like Michael's reading off the sheet. It's the Dodgers money line against the Phillies because they led 2-1 after 8 innings. Philly ended up tying the game in the 9th. Unfortunately, you cannot blame Kenley Jansen because he's not there anymore. Dodgers took the lead again in the top of the 10th. 2 outs, bottom 10, ground ball right to the second baseman, bobble by Muncy. Not 1 run score, but 2 run score. And they went from an easy win, ground ball right at the second baseman, to losing. And you can rip up your ticket.
Can't hit, but at least he can't field either. Max Muncy, everybody. And finally, if you had the Kansas City Royals on the money line against the Minnesota Twins, Royals up 6-0 after 7. Brady Singer, just recalled from Omaha, absolutely dealing. But once he got out of there, the worm turned as Minnesota put up 5 in the 8th. 2 in the 9th. That's your ball game. By the way, fun stat, Scott. In the history of Major League Baseball, 1,490 times a starter had thrown at least 7 shutout innings, and the team led 6-0 after 7. 4 times out of the 1,490 had the team gone down to a defeat. Now it's 1,486-5 as the Royals, playing historical baseball right now, finding new and interesting ways to lose. If you have the Royals right there, number 1, what are you doing? Number 2, call the cops.
Yeah, seems like a pretty bad beat.
Awful. Well, there was some good news out there. These were the people that were on the right side of the ledger. These were the people that are just kind of snoozing there at the Circa pool, despite the EDM music. You know who you are. Now you get to brag to your friends because you, my friend, were sitting in the rocking chair.
So the first one, if you had the Oilers on the money line against the Flames, they led 4-0 after 2 periods, and they won the game 4-1.
Very good. That was kind of short and sweet there, buddy.
Well, there's really not much more to add, right? I mean, it is the rocking chair for a reason.
Yep, absolutely. If you had the Mets Rockies, like my premium players did yesterday on the under 10.5 in Colorado, we ain't feared to no altitude. Had 2 runs in the 6th inning, 0 runs in the other 8 innings. That game landed on the deuce. Nice, easy under win in Colorado. What?
And the last one, if you had I believe I wrote Nationals on the money line. That can't be right, can it?
Huh?
Either way, if you had them, they led 8-0 against the Brewers after 4 innings, and they won 8-2.
If you had that Nationals minus 5.5, you made some serious jack yesterday, Jack.
Yep.
Nicely done. Well, we talked a little bit about this. We touched briefly on the last show. We're going to talk about it in depth now. Let's find out who it is, Scott. Nothing like Nothing like starting our Mondays with a pack animal. Let's find out who it was as we reveal this weekend's donkey of the day. Well, Scott, Missouri once part of the once part of the Confederacy, and we like to think that we've shed that image. But then something like this happens, and you kind of wonder what kind of people are living on the other side of the state. I can't speak for the western side because we're all cool over here. But St. Louis, what are you guys doing, Scott? What happened?
So you ended up, of course, having a couple of hockey games over the weekend. One of them was the Avalanche and Blues game 3 of that series. And Binnington, we know, is having a great series, and Kadri is a guy with a checkered past when it comes to potential dirty plays. Charging the net, seemed like a Blues guy bumped into him. Long story short, he bumps into Binnington, and Binnington is now injured, and he had to come out of the game. And it seemed like some Blues fans took exception to the fact that Binnington got hurt. Even Binnington threw a water bottle at him during the post-game press conference. But the Blues fans had a couple of, let's just say, racist messages towards Kadri, and he working with police to make sure that he is fully safe. And whether you like Kadri or not, whether you find him a dirty player or not, leave race out of it.
Right. Can't you just call him a dirty player?
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of the same gist, but you don't have to start calling him some choice words that are frowned upon, and especially in today's society. That just seems a little bit much. And also, I know sports are a big part of our lives. It's just a game. You don't really need to send racist threats to a guy because you lost a hockey game. That's a little bit much.
I had Binnington save prop over. I at no point did I think about sending a racist tweet.
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay. And I'm going to guess. I'm going to go on a line here. I'm going to go on a limb and say I lost more on that than most people that tweeted the racist shit lost.
And Binnington also, of course, threw the water bottle at Kadri. He would have been donkey of the day, but then the fans one-upped him. But It seemed like a lot of it was based on Kadri's past, and I get it. He has a Tom Wilson level history there with choice hits, but there's some, barriers that you should not be crossing. And the racial insult barrier is definitely one of them where it's never acceptable to do that.
When I worked in the casino, I used to teach one of the diversity classes, and I used to start my class by saying there's no reason to hate somebody because of their race, their religion, their sex, their color. If you spend enough time getting to know them, you'll find plenty of other reasons to hate.
They can be an asshole, but race has nothing to do with it.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, so.
Well, that also kind of ties into the Tim Anderson situation, right?
What do you mean?
The Anderson with the Donaldson Jackie comment during the week. You know what I'm talking about?
I know there was a kerfuffle. What was the whole deal?
So 2019, Anderson did an interview with, I believe, Sports Illustrated, and it was right around the time that he had the bat throwing thing against the Royals. I think it was against the Royals, right?
It was.
Yeah. So either way, he had that, and seemed like people were targeting him for trying to make the league fun or whatever.
Right.
And he called himself the modern day Jackie Robinson.
Oh, that's right.
In a quote. And Donaldson, according to him, has been kind of picking on him for the last couple of years about it. He's been calling him Jackie. And they had an argument on Saturday, and apparently during the argument, something along the lines of Donaldson saying, "Lighten up, Jackie," or like "nice swing, Jackie," or something. Okay. And then the benches cleared. La Russa called him a racist, and you had this whole thing that happened. But once again, I don't think that involved race at all. I think that just involved Anderson making a really stupid comment 3 years ago, comparing himself to one of the most important sports figures in the history of, whatever, just because he threw a bat and celebrates a couple of times.
Yep.
And Donaldson poked fun at it. So, yeah, racism's involved in a lot of elements of sports, but not everything that's accused of being racism is actually racism.
Sometimes it's
the Blues thing's actually a problem. The Donaldson thing I thought was honestly funny.
I think if you were to tell me that Donaldson was an asshole, I would not be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised, but don't call the guy a racist because you said something stupid 3 years ago and he's poking fun at you.
I'm like, yeah, maybe not.
You can argue if it was racist if he did not say in previous interviews, "Call me the modern day Jackie Robinson,"
right?
And then you get offended for him calling you Jackie. Isn't that what you wanted in the first place?
And you know what? that kind of shit goes on in baseball all the time. They are world-class chirpers.
Yeah,
and if you give them ammunition like that,
what are you supposed to do? You're sitting in the dugout for 3 hours. Of course, you're going to chirp at somebody.
Absolutely. All right. So there was another sporting event going on this weekend, Scott, and let's just say it had an interesting ending, shall we? Yeah, I don't even know how to start this. So we're just going to do it this way. We're going to find out about who didn't make us mad, but they certainly made us disappointed. So, as you know, there was a major tournament this week. The PGA Championship was this weekend, and if you had a long shot by the name of Mito Pereira, man, you had 150-1 ticket in your pocket with a 1-hole lead entering the last hole of the tournament.
We could have put this for Donkey, but to be honest, with that big of a long shot, we thought that it would be a little bit harsh to put him for Donkey. Wouldn't you agree?
Yep, absolutely. And this is shades of, was it Vandervelde?
Yep.
That had the meltdown. I believe that was at the British Open. But
yes, it was. That was back during like the harsh British Open, where shooting +5 was a winning score.
Yeah,
back in the day.
Yeah. So Pereira double bogeyed the hole. There was a playoff, but he was not even part of the playoff, Scott. That was brutal. The round leader did not qualify for the playoff. And needless to say, because he wasn't in the playoff, he didn't win. Justin Thomas won the tournament. And
I saw that he was 300-1 when he was 8 shots back earlier on Sunday.
So, yeah. So I was going to say, there's a good chance you didn't have him at 150-1, but you could have got a live play on him the day of the event. But so that paid off well for some people. But for those of you holding your Pereira tickets at 150-1, you got to tear those up. And
yeah, in the voice of George Carlin, in the unlikely event of a water landing, that's what happened on the tee shot for Pereira. A lot of water.
I believe his quote was he wasn't even thinking about the water.
Yeah, he said he wasn't thinking about it, and apparently the water was thinking about him.
I was going to say it's like Jesus when you say, "Well, I don't believe in Jesus." Well, he believes in you.
I will give him props though. He did handle the choke job with grace afterwards. He did all the interviews, he signed autographs, and I'll give him props for that. But I can't say that it's going to be an all-time choke job. I think the British Open one was the worst in the history of the sport, besides maybe Norman. Norman probably takes the cake. I think people are going to forget about Pereira and the choke job in a year or two. Yep. But he could have been a major champion, and now, unfortunately, that is not the case.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely brutal. You can't be mad, but man, you can definitely be disappointed. So,
yeah.
All right, my friend. Well, what do you got on the burner for tonight? We've talked a little bit about the basketball. We haven't talked about the hockey much. And Tampa Bay,
back to back. We got a back-to-back hockey game.
It's been plus money. Tampa Bay has just been a cash register so far.
I'm talking about the scheduling. We have a back-to-back today in hockey.
You mean
the Lightning played yesterday? They're playing again today.
That's right. Does that matter to you?
No. I think Tampa's going to win. Okay. I put in a 4-pick parlay for fun as my first bet. Vegas, so I got an actual printed out sheet. Or, I got the actual printed out ticket. Fancy.
You're going to have to head back to the window.
I can potentially head back to the window. We'll see what happens. But I got the Lightning -1.5 in there. It's at like +200. The Panthers have shown me absolutely nothing throughout the entire series. And congrats to them. They finally scored a power play goal. I'm proud of them. Bobrovsky's actually been pretty good. The offense can't score. And we saw this in the back half of the Toronto series, especially Game 7. Tampa's defense has just flipped the switch, and it's been the best defense in the playoffs. Yep. And Florida's had no answers. And you're looking at all the weapons that Tampa has. Kucherov, Stamkos, Paul, of course, has been solid in the playoffs as well. Florida's defense is decent. Tampa's defense is elite. And Tampa's offense and power. Florida has shown me nothing, but you lose yesterday. You're down 3-0. Do you think they're going to be motivated? Do you think they are going to throw in the towel? Because I really don't know how a young Florida team that's really won nothing in their playoff career isn't going to look at the 2-time defending champions and say we're probably screwed. Not to mention the empty netter possibility.
Yep,
So I think plus 200 is a very solid price for 1.5.
Yep. David Wachowski says Tampa Bay plus 1.5 has been free money the whole series. I think he mean minus 1.5?
Either 1.5 or just the actual games going into the series potentially.
Yeah,
because Florida was favored. Was Florida favored in the series?
Yeah. And Tampa Bay's won. They covered the puck line in 2 of the 3. So
yeah, the only time they didn't, of course, was the Colton game winner.
Yeah,
killed me personally, but you know.
Mm-hmm. No, we talked about this before. I liked Tampa Bay plus money for the series. I've liked them plus money in every game so far.
I Tampa in 6 in this series. So
good luck. I don't think
it's not even. I don't think it's going to get there.
No.
But Florida's also in Tampa. It's one of those situations where if you like the Panthers to actually win tonight, bet them to score first. Because I do agree with Magellan's point. If the Lightning go up early, Panthers are going to roll over. They might roll over anyway.
Yes.
But when you're against Vasilevsky, who can bail you out, even if you get decent chances, and Bobrovsky's been good, but he can't bail you out the same level that Vasilevsky can. I really just don't like much about Florida because if the only thing they were really good at was scoring and they can't score, then how am I supposed to like them against one of the best defenses in the league?
Trisha Kringle says Florida has shown you something, but they're losing. Yeah, I mean, that's Vasilevsky's done Vasilevsky things. The defense has gotten better.
I think the one concern I had was Bobrovsky, and he's actually been good.
Yeah, well, now you got a new concern, the fact they're 1 for 28 on the power play.
But it was 0 for 25.
I know, I understand. I'm just saying.
The percentage did go up last game. But yeah, that's another thing. One thing you got to keep in mind when it comes to taking advantage of mistakes in playoff hockey especially, and the main area, that's the power play. And that's what Toronto was able to do against Tampa. Toronto had a lot of power play opportunities, and of course, they had an elite power play in the regular season. They were able to score a decent amount where you could punish the other team for making mistakes. But if you're going to go up 5-on-4 and you're going to not score, good luck beating Tampa on 5-on-5.
Yeah. Totally agree. Rick Zepp says he's got the Celtics tonight minus 11. Yeah, Rick, we talked about that earlier.
I think they bury Miami tonight.
We both said that this is a great spot for Miami to get buried.
Yeah, I think so.
Andrew says he just got Tampa minus 129. So yeah, there's a little money coming in on Tampa. That's solid for sure. Celtics, Dodgers, money line parlay. It's hard to argue with.
I got the Dodgers minus 1.5 as my play.
I saw that after I posted, but I've got them in a parlay, so we weren't exactly the same.
Okay.
So
I couldn't say no. Dodgers have, besides the Muncy era, have been solid, and Adon is awful. So I took a shot with it.
Adon has been just fucking.
And you're getting 9 guaranteed at bats. So I can't really argue with it.
I can't say no. Colorado, St. Louis. St. Louis at home plus 140. No Binnington, no chance, Scott.
I have Colorado in regulation as another play in my parlay.
Plus money?
No, I was minus 105.
Okay.
No offense to Husso. He's had a good year as a youngster, but Binnington has been the guy. And even though Husso hung around to some degree, Colorado we already knew was the better team as a whole. Binnington was the one who was helping them out in case they got into trouble. Husso can't do that. So for me, I got Colorado in regulation. Once again, don't attack Kadri with, stuff because of what happened, because I actually don't think it was his fault anyway. But I do believe the Binnington injury completely killed any hope St. Louis had of winning the series.
Done and done. Tricia says Tampa Bay has experience and they know how to win. Agree. Perry has scored a goal in the last 3 games at plus money. That's something to take a look at there. You like that streak continuing?
It's always tricky because Perry's goals pretty much come entirely on the power play because he's the one standing in front of the goalie going for deflections and redirects. But that's really been the takeaway. At least Tampa has somebody in that deflector spot. And it seems like Florida just passes the puck around.
All right. How's that Wi-Fi in Vegas, buddy?
It's not great at the Mirage, to be honest. It's not great. I noticed it's been breaking up a couple of times, but
yep.
I'll probably have to call somebody to see if I can get another network on. But either way, Tampa's power play is set up a lot more, I'd say, cohesively than Florida's, and that's been the story of the series.
Yep, absolutely true. What about the total in that game, Scott? Boston money line, the over 205. Is it 205 and a half now?
Man. I mean, I like Miami's team total under, so I don't. You can lean to the over if you think that Boston goes for 110 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know how Miami's going to score, especially with all the injuries that they're dealing with.
If you're talking about a 20-point blowout, though, doesn't that have to go over?
It can, unless you think Miami scores like 90.
Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, even at 20-point
110 to 90, that's 200.
90. Yeah, that's 200 even. So,
if you like the over, I would feel a lot better about Boston's team total over.
Agreed. That's what I was just looking at there. So you've got a 7.5 point spread at 206. So you're 106.5 or so, roughly. Yeah. I'm a bigger fan of that because I think you can only count on one of these teams to do anything offensively right here. Magellan's talking about PJ Tucker scoring the first basket. Plus 1,600. He's hit the first basket in 4 of the last 10 games. That's solid. You like that?
Yeah. The thing is, when you're going for first basket bets, you got to look for either trends or just get lucky. And Tucker has been a guy, especially at 16-1 for some of these shots. If you want to go for specific baskets, maybe a 3-pointer, because you know he's going to stand in the corner the majority of the time. But Tucker has embraced a bigger offensive role in this series. And yeah, Boston hasn't exactly done a great job guarding him. So I don't mind that either.
Grant Williams prop?
It really comes down to Robert Williams' status, doesn't it? I kind of have to plead the fifth because I don't have enough information. I would lean under anyway because he hasn't really done much in the series. But until I know for a fact if Williams is going to play or not, I would wait and see.
What's the last? I still got him officially questionable. Do you have any update on that?
I see questionable. That's the point. I don't know.
Okay. Does that matter to you?
I think it does because from what we've seen in this series, even though Boston with Grant Williams has looked good at times, it seems like Robert Williams is needed to at least somewhat neutralize Adebayo. And we saw how Adebayo looked with Williams not playing in Game 3, and Adebayo went for 30+. Just because Williams has been in and out of the lineup for the last couple of weeks doesn't change the fact that he's been an amazing defensive player for the entire season.
Yep.
And I personally think he was more deserving of Defensive Player of the Year than Marcus Smart was, even though, of course, he did miss time with injury. Him being there is huge because if Butler is less than 100%, which he clearly is, you got to try to neutralize Bam. And Williams gives you a much better chance of doing that.
Ken from Philly asked when we were still down on the Blues. Yes. Even more so.
No offense to the Blues. I liked them going into the series. I thought they had a shot to win it, and they really did. And Bennington got hurt.
Yep.
And Bennington was the ultimate equalizer. I have to look elsewhere now. I think Colorado probably wins in 5.
What just happened? I wanted to know if you ever got drinks with Allie. That's happening tonight. What just happened?
Happening tonight.
So there you go. I didn't know about the Bennington injury. That changes everything. We totally agree, Ken. Totally agree. They didn't have a great shot before that, and that shot has gone down to not much of a shot. So
I think they went from either 6 or 7 game loss to 5.
Yeah, that seems pretty accurate. Got some pretty shitty baseball games tonight, Scott. Is there anything that stands out to you besides what we already have our money on?
Well, we're saving a play on the crappy baseball card for later, so it's not entirely crap because we do have something we like.
We took a crappy game and made a play on it.
Yes, we did. I guess one question I'll have for you. It's about the 4th time this season that Cole's been matched up against Lyles this season.
Yep.
Are you just blindly laying 1.5 with the Yankees?
Yep. Might even lay 2.5.
Okay, fair enough. I believe at the price point now, all the value on 1.5 is pretty much gone. It's probably a -150 at this point. So you're probably stuck laying 2.5 if you want to actually get a decent price. Probably -110 or even +110 on 2.5. Can you explain to me why the Giants are -140 tonight? They've lost 4 in a row. Mets have been solid. I know that the Mets are 15-7 on the road. The Giants are only 11-10 at home at Oracle. Why are the Mets getting plus money here. The Giants have not been playing well at all.
Yeah, that's it's to me it comes down to the pitching matchups as David Peterson goes against Alex Cobb. Alex Cobb hasn't been fantastic with the 5.6 ERA this season. However, up until his last outing, he actually pitched pretty well, as he'd given up just 3 runs over his last 10 and a third going in, but he got absolutely jacked there in Colorado as he gave up 7 earned in 5 and a third, 10 hits, 1 walk, 1 home run. So
Peterson is coming off the IL. He hasn't pitched since the 3rd, so I'm assuming that might be baked in. But I really don't know why the Giants on a 4-game losing streak are minus 140. That seems a little bit absurd.
Yeah, I'm with you. Do you totally discount bad pitching performances in Colorado? When you're looking at your sheet and you see, 6 earned runs in 3 innings and you see, at Colorado. Well, fuck, I don't care about that.
I don't fully discount it, but I do. We're talking about for which pitcher?
Talking about Alex Cobb, who
for Cobb,
last time I gave up 7 earned and 5.
I was clarifying because the Rockies have been very good against lefties this season. Against righties, not so much. And of course, Cobb is a righty. But I do have some. I'd say that, of course, it has less weight than other stuff. But I do think it matters maybe for confidence purposes, especially with Cobb having a 5.6 ERA.
Right.
I think that it could linger. But for the most part, I just think that Peterson's not that bad. The Mets bullpen has been okay after a rocky start. Do the Giants have a great bullpen? Not really. It's fine.
Yep.
But I think the Mets are the better team.
Agreed. Andres is saying the Lightning win in the under. Yes, I like that parlay very much.
I think if you want to play it safe, Panthers team total under.
Yep.
They're basically scoring one goal per game. I don't trust the offense.
Magellan says great night for an alternative run line on the Dodgers at 5.5.
We're back to this bullshit again.
The last time we started talking about that, not the 5.5, but the last time we started talking about, I don't know, about 2.5, 3.5, we jinxed the shit out of it. The team lost outright.
All I know is that Magellan mentioned it against the Pirates, and they won like 11-0.
He took it. Yes, he did.
He did.
Absolutely.
I would be happy because I have the Dodgers minus 1.5. After a loss like that yesterday, I do think the Dodgers should be kind of motivated to get back on track because they should still have a winning streak at this point.
Yep.
The Nationals are just so bad.
Yep. And I'm with you. This is I'm with you on the Giants as well. This is a Giants team that's given up 25. Giving up.
You mean the Mets?
Well, no, I'm looking at the Giants and how much they've given up here.
Oh yeah, okay.
About 43 in their last 7. So they're giving up 6 runs per game. They've given up 5 or more in 6 of those 7 games. Yeah, not. I want no part of minus 140 there with this Mets team that's won 5 of their last 6, playing pretty good baseball. Yeah, I'm taking underdog shot there. I'm with you.
That's my favorite underdog play on the baseball card.
It's a great chance for the Snakes. Oh, absolutely. Greinke's still without a win this season.
Yeah, and he's actually been decent pitching.
Yeah, he's earned that number 1 spot in the Royals rotation. Now, that would not be confused with an actual number 1 starter in a regular rotation.
Yeah,
but he has been the Royals' best starter, most consistent starter. So yeah, I'm with you. Laying a short price. Anytime you got a team that's laying like less than minus 120 against the Royals, you have to fucking pounce on that. Mets Giants under 7.5. No, I have no confidence in that. I like the fact that it's in San Francisco. It's in that cold Pacific air, that night air, but
I'm leaning to the over.
Yeah, I'm with you. I got to go the same way.
I don't trust Cobb, and Peterson hasn't pitched in 3 weeks. You have question marks about both starting pitchers. I can't take an under.
Absolutely true. All right, well, let's get it done, man. There's only one thing left to do, brother, and I know it's not going to have the full effect because you couldn't wear it on, but we're going to do it anyway. We're going to find out what it is. It's Monday. It's time to get on you bring your overalls, Scott, to Vegas?
No.
Jesus Christ.
I know I didn't bring anything. I'm slacking.
All right. Well, you're going to have to put on your overalls for Scott. Get that straw hat out. Adjust it. Climb aboard your John Deere. Pull out your keys. Put them in the ignition. Fire that bad boy up. It's Monday, kids. We got a 4-game winning streak. Once again, it is time to bet the farm, everybody. All right. Well, I know we've done pretty well lately here, Scott. And we did have a Bet the Farm play for Friday night. How'd that go?
We had the Cardinals, first 5, -0.5 against the Pirates, and Wainwright continued to do Wainwright things against the Pirates. Nice win for us.
Ageless Wonder cashes again. Cue the banjos. Yeah. All right, my friend. What do we got? What do we got cooked up for a little Bet the Farm for today?
So we're going to go to the Cubs-Reds game, and we're going to go with the Cubs. Team total over 4.5 at -110 from our friends at Caesars. Chicago has scored at least 5 runs in each of its last 3 games, and you have Gutierrez on the mound, and he has been awful so far this season. So far, 26 innings pitched, 25 earned runs, and it has not gone any better at home. Gutierrez at home this season, 8 2/3 innings pitched, 10 earned runs, and assuming he potentially gets shelled, Cincinnati's bullpen also horrible. The Reds have a 4.79 bullpen ERA, which is the second highest in the league. So even if Gutierrez has a mediocre performance, 5 innings, 2 runs, something like that, this Reds bullpen can easily blow it as well. But 4.5 against a starter who's been this bad and a bullpen that's this terrible in a hitter's friendly park, we got to take the over.
I'm with you. We got a couple of shitty teams, but when you got lemons, it's time to make that lemonade. And I think Cubs team total over 4.5. Like you said, basically you get 2 shots at it. You get a swing at Gutierrez, and then you get a swing at that bullpen. I think that one goes over the total as well. So that's going to do it for the farm. That's going to do it for the show. We appreciate everybody stopping by. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. Wish you nothing but the best on all your plays today. Good luck, and we'll be back tomorrow to talk all about it, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. Scott and I, once again, do our very best to help you end that never-ending journey to head back to the window. Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon.